Welcome to All About Money on HKIBC. I am Chloe Feng. Although the pandemic continues to rage across the globe, the demand for children's merchandise and toys saw an industry boom, with the market expected to grow by over $50 billion between 2020 and 2024, according to the latest market research by Technovia. What are the challenges and opportunities the industry has encountered during the pandemic? Joining me today from Singapore is Toymaker Mr. Dave Cave. He runs Hong Kong-based Dragonite Toys, which is one of the world's biggest manufacturers of toy dinosaurs, and the maker of the popular Chatimal, the talking hamster. Welcome to the program, Dave.
Nice to be with you, Chloe.
And you're right now in Singapore, right? So tell us about how do you feel about arriving in the city at the moment?
Well, I think Singapore was one of the first Asian countries that decided to open their doors. Obviously, the pandemic's affected every country in the world, so it was quite difficult to travel. Luckily, Singapore decided that they would open the borders. And of course, it's nice to be in Singapore. It's a great country. And so it's somewhere along with Thailand and Bangkok, where we've been traveling to over the last 12 months. It's been pretty easy to move around. And we're really happy to be here in lovely, rainy Singapore this morning.
Exactly. And I can see that the weather is so nice. All right, now let's move on to our business subjects today, which is about the toy business. So first, tell us more about your company. What are the main products and how did you get into this industry and set up your company?
Well, everybody initially, when I opened the company called Dragonite Toys, they thought we're all related to Dragonite, the nightclub in Lan Kwai Fong. But I started the company back in 2008. I'd been working with an American company called Jasmine that were quite famous for dinosaurs. Unfortunately, they had a financial situation in 2007 into 2008, and unfortunately had to close the company down and go into receivership late 2008. I realized how good the actual products were with the company. So I decided to make an offer along with a very good friend of mine in the toy industry, David Yip, who owns Redbox Toys. And we decided to buy the assets, which is basically the tooling, which makes the product, and the IP, the names of the products, like we own Mighty Megasaur, Laser Command, and other brands. So in 2008, we made the offer. In early 2009, we actually were told that we'd bought the company. So we started working with the retailers again in early 2009. A very challenging time, because when a company closes down, it's very difficult to start selling the same products to the retailers from another company. So the first 12 months were challenging, but now we're in year 14, and I can say that we've had a wonderful journey over the last 14 years with Dragonite Toys.
It's definitely been a very roller coaster experience in your life as well. And I believe all the experiences are actually valuable in our life and also for the company's growth as well. And now, can you also share more about the products that your company has been producing? What are the major popular ones? Tell us more.
We've obviously progressed year in year. We try to introduce new products, but our core business, and I think really outside of Mattel and Jurassic World products, we're the #1 manufacturer of dinosaurs, and we're especially known for our walking electronic dinosaurs. So we have a very simple, quite a large T-Rex and Velociraptors. The kids love that they press the button, the dinosaur walks, so the head moves, the eyes light up. It makes that really cool a T-Rex sound. And we've been very successful. And I would say we sell that product to nearly every one of our 150, 200 retailers that we have in the 60 countries around the world. We also own some IP for target shooting games, and we're very famous for a product which was a cowboy type shooting game. And also we own laser target shooting games using infrared, which is very safe for children. So there are two core products. In 2010, I was given an idea by a company in the UK called Blue Sky. They'd seen this app because in 2010, apps were brand new. And they showed me this app, which was called Smack Talk. And it was a real hamster. And when you had your phone in your hand and you talked to the hamster answered straight back. And I thought, really, that's very cool. And the guy that showed me this said, could you make that into a toy? Anyway, I won't go into the long details, but we were working 24 hours a day to find out how we could get the chip or the IC that made that happen, because it didn't exist in 2009, 2010. And we eventually found it through a friend of mine that worked for Microsoft, and out came this brand new product called Chatimals, which was a hamster, which between 2009 and 2015, we sold over 5 million units worldwide. It was on TV in many countries. And after that, we got the license for Talking Tom, which is a very famous app. And from 2014, even up to now, Talking Friends is still a hot license. We've sold millions and millions of Talking Friends as well. So that one item, that one idea, has made our sales, has been $100+ million of sales for us.
Right, I remember that hamster is definitely super cute and it's just brilliant. Also, tell us, your company manufactures products in China and then sells them to retailers in over 60 countries, as you just mentioned. Which region do you think has the biggest toy market?
Well, without a doubt, every toy company's major market is the United States, obviously North America. So that would account for about 20% of everybody's sales, depending on the type of product. The second biggest market is my home country, the UK. And then, of course, the rest of Europe, Australia, Canada, the Middle East. But of course, America is very, very important. And we work with Walmart in the USA and Target and all the other, most of the major retailers there. But of course, like everybody else, everybody is suffering retail sales at the moment, which I think we'll go to later on in this interview.
Right. And what about Hong Kong's toy market size?
Well, good old Hong Kong, my hometown for the last 25 years. The biggest player in Asia is, of course, Toys R Us. I'm not sure if you remember, but Toys R Us globally closed down about 5 years ago. The American market, it closed, and it caused a lot of problems for a lot of retailers, for a lot of manufacturers around the world. Luckily, there were certain countries that kept the brand. I think Li and Feng were involved with Toys R Us in Asia at the time, and they managed to keep the brand. There's obviously been other investors there now, but we deal with Toys R Us in Hong Kong. It's still relatively a small market. We deal with them exclusively in the whole of Asia, but they do a great job, in other Asian countries, in Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Taiwan. China, of course, is a big market for them. So relatively a small market, but still a good partner to have in this area.
Right. And one thing interests me is that during the pandemic, the anti-COVID products, furniture and toys are among the items seeing steady and strong demand. And the industry actually boomed last year. But then this year, China is facing its worst COVID crisis ever. We have seen that the megacity Shanghai has been locked down since late March. And also Hong Kong's neighboring Guangdong region also has different, testing practices, and some city got locked down, for example, in Shenzhen. So I wonder, how has the China's latest COVID wave been affected your business in this year, in recent time?
Well, obviously, supply chain is the biggest issue. Our products are not just one factory. We have component parts, we have packaging, we have internal infrastructure, goods going from one factory to another. Obviously, the pandemic has affected distribution. Luckily for us, our main factories are in Guangdong. And at the moment, the biggest issue in China is in the north, in Shanghai, as you've mentioned, and in Beijing. Obviously, the biggest issue we had with China and selling to our customers was in 2021, where I think for about 6 months, the prices started to rise very, very quickly for the cost of the products. And over the last 20 years, we've had no inflation in toys. In fact, a toy which cost $10 in 2005 would cost $8 in 2020. So there's been deflation over the last 20 years. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, in 2021, we suddenly saw that the factories were putting up their prices between 8 and 10%. Now, buyers throughout the world have never had price increases. This was something which is completely new to them. So we had not just us, every manufacturer had the problem of trying to convince their customers to take price increases. And it was a very big challenge through last year. We ended up working with our factories and putting our prices up between 3 and 5%, which in fact most retailers accepted it, because it wasn't just Dragonite Toys that were putting the prices up. It was the big guys, the Mattels, the Hasbros, putting their prices up much more than us. So 2021 was the biggest challenge in terms of selling to retailers around the world, Chloe. Obviously, in 2022, our worry is will the retail side of the business, will that increase, decrease, or whatever? And currently, in Q1 for 2022, we've seen quite a dramatic decrease in sales. I would say somewhere between 15 and 20%. I think a lot of retailers had stocks left over from fall 2021. So the order book for 2022 Q1 has been quite low. But I think you have to look at like a big country like the USA. They pumped a lot of money into the economy. And in fact, if I remember rightly, each individual in the USA last year in early 2021 were given $1,200 each. This made a massive difference in retail. For example, Walmart, our biggest customer, saw the sales increase through early 2021 into fall 2021. We had massive increases, 15, 20, 25% on our sales. And especially in the early part of the year, I think parents were more focused on Christmas and birthdays more than they are just buying their children general presents.
Right. Thank you very much for your insights. Dave will be back after the break with more discussions on the inflation, industry revenue growth, forecast, and safety concerns. We'll be back after the break.